Hi, motorcycle enthusiasts. Today we're going to take apart the Honda CM200 carburetor. Let's take a look at some of the tools we'll be using you're going to need. You'll need a size 2 JIS screwdriver. We've linked an affordable JIS set in the video description. If you don't have one, you can use a Phillips 2 screwdriver instead. I've also got a variety of flathead screwdrivers on the table here. You'll also need a slim little spike tool, a 7mm wrench, a small, powerful flashlight, and needle nose pliers. Take a look in the video description after you finish watching the clip so you can get more info about that particular carb. Here's another thing. People often ask, is Carb Daddy making money with this? Well, not enough to get rich and live like Elon Musk, but we do earn a little something when you get rebuild kits and other bits and pieces using our links. And that lets us keep producing these little videos and maybe grow a little too. And not to boast or brag, but these are top-notch businesses that sell top-of-the-shelf, quality products, not some crap made in some dicey sweatshop. So use the links, help us keep all of this going, so all of us can keep these awesome bikes going for years to come. Let's start with the slider cap. You've already removed this once because now you have the carburetor on the table, and I'm assuming you've unhooked the slider from the throttle cable. But just to recap, here are the parts for you. Here's the slider with the needle. If you look inside here at the top, you'll see a small clip. Now you'll need the needle nose pliers to grab onto those two tabs. I grab the tabs with the pliers, press them together, and pull out the clip. Once the clip is out, the needle can slide out of the slider. That's it for the top section. Now we can move directly to the float bowl cover. The float bowl cover is secured with these 3 Phillips head screws. I'll loosen and fully remove them, then we'll continue. All right, the screws are out. You can now lift the cover upwards. Be careful, it might stick a little. Here's what it looks like. This tube is the overflow, and here's the float bowl gasket. We'll replace this, of course. I'll set the cover aside, and now we'll remove the float. The float is mounted on a small pin. Take a look. I'm going to push the pin sideways with the punch tool. I hold the pin in place, leave the tool inserted momentarily, and remove the float gently. Then I can carefully hold the float, remove the tool, and lift the float upwards. The float has a float needle attached. Oops, it just fell off. Let me show you again. The float needle is hooked onto this small tab. Slide it forward to remove it and set it aside. Set the float aside too. Check to make sure it's not damaged. Feel it to ensure there's no fuel inside. This is crucial for proper function. Now there are basically 3 things left to do. Here's the main jet. It's seated inside the jet holder, which you can hold with a 7mm wrench. Use a properly fitting tool to unscrew the main jet. This is the main jet. While you have the tool in place, you can also loosen and unscrew the jet holder. Next is the needle jet. You can see it if you look inside here. I'll point to it. It's located here and can be pushed out downwards. Sometimes it's loose enough to do with your finger like this. Here's the needle jet. If you need to push it out, don't use anything sharp that could deform it. A deformed jet can alter how it atomizes fuel. If you look closely, you'll notice it has a slightly open side. That's where the needle inserts. The other side is more closed off, and behind that is the jet holder. I'll set both pieces aside. Inside the carburetor, there's also the idle jet. That's this one, right here. You can unscrew it completely. Again, use a screwdriver that fits well to avoid damaging the slot. Here's the idle jet. Some versions of this carburetor have a pressed-in idle jet. If it doesn't have a slot, you won't be able to remove it. Lastly, there's the idle mixture screw. That's this one. If you want, you can screw it all the way in and count the turns to record the previous setup. However, I recommend resetting it to the factory default after ultrasonic cleaning. You'll find those specs in the video description. I'll unscrew the mixture screw now and show you the parts. The first part you'll see is a spring on the screw. For the rest, if they don't fall out, you can use a paper clip bent into a small hook to pull them out. On the mixture screw, there's a washer and an O-ring. Sometimes these stick a bit, so be patient. Here's the washer. Use your flashlight to check inside if needed. And here's the O-ring. Now, the carburetor is ready to luxuriate in its ultrasonic bubble bath. I hope you enjoyed the disassembly process. Please subscribe to my channel to support me for free, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up to let YouTube know you liked the video. Until the next video. Later, Gator.